Hello, everyone. This is Lexicon coming at you with another budget commander list. And today we're going to be looking at Najila, the Blade Blossom. So let's get into it. So she's 3 mana, two of any color, one red. And she says whenever a warrior attacks, you may have its controller create a 1/1 white warrior creature token that's tapped and attacking. And then for one of each color, we can untap all attacking creatures. They gain trample, lifelink, and haste until the end of the turn. And after this phase, there's an additional combat phase. And you can only activate it during combat. This commander is so freaking good because you can go wide so quickly. Because not only does she trigger herself, but she also, if I'm correct, the 1/1 that you make that's attacking will make another one. I'm not sure because that would seem to be like an infinite loop, but still, this commander is bonkers, and I can't wait to play it tomorrow on Moto. So let's just look at some of the creatures. We're playing Alasha, and whenever she attacks, you may pay a white and a black, double white, double black. And if you do, you can return a target creature with power 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield that's tapped and attacking. We have a bunch of creatures that are mana dorks and help us play all the colors that we can. So with the Pilgrim does generate us a white mana. Birds of Paradise gives us one of any color. We have Ignoble Hierarch for black, red, or green, and it's also exalted. We are also playing Noble Hierarch, which can give us green, white, or blue. The Ishin is good in here because it's going to give us double combat trigger. So if a creature attacking causes the trigger ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. We play Marnus Calgar. He's a double strike. And he allows us to draw cards. And then for 6 mana, we can create 2/2 white Astartes warrior creature tokens with vigilance. Devilish Valet is awesome because he's a 3 mana 1/3 with trample and haste. And whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you double its power. So as we're creating these warrior tokens, Devilish Valet is going to get bigger and bigger. Mindblade Render is cool because if they're dealt damage, we can draw a card and lose just 1 life to draw an extra card. And this deck is filled up with some Anthem effects. So Chief of the Edge gives other warriors +1/+0. And if you want to learn more about these creatures, just look at the Moxfield link. You can read what each one does. I do want to talk about Bramblewood Paragon. So each other warrior creature you control comes into play with an additional 1/1 counter on it. And then each creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it has trample. We have 6 sorceries. Most of them are all ramp, except for Preordain, which allows us to scry 2, then draw a card. As far as instants, we have some small pieces of removal with Beast Within, Path to Exile. We have March of the Swirling Mist to phase out your opponent's creatures. So if they attack you, you can dump mana into this and make them all phase out so that they don't deal you any damage. Then we're running a few counter spells. We're just playing counter spell, double blue counter target spell, miscast to counter a target instant or sorcery unless its controller pays 3. We have negate and we have unbreakable formation just in case they try to wipe our board. And then we also have secure the waste, which we can play at the end of one of our opponent's turns to create a bunch of 1/1 white warrior creature tokens. As far as artifacts, we have Signet to make sure we have the colors to cast our cards. Chromatic Lantern will fix all issues with having the correct mana. Commander Sphere to either add a color or to draw a card. We do have this equipment here that says whenever equipped creature attacks, you make a 2/2 white warrior creature token with vigilance that's attacking, and then all of our attacking creatures get menace. Orchestra's Monument is good in our deck because white creature spells cost 1 less to cast, and whenever we cast a creature spell, we make a warrior. We have Soul Ring, Boots for protection. We have a bunch of the talismans to make sure that we are getting the colors we need. And then finally, I want to talk about Throne of the God Pharaoh. This card is bonkers for 2 mana because at our end step, all of our opponents will lose life equal to the number of tapped creatures we control. And since we're pumping out so many tokens, they're just going to get drained. They're just going to get drained for a lot with this legendary artifact. And then for enchantments, I said why not put Beastmaster Ascension in, because it's just going to get the 7 counter so quickly in this deck. And then all of our warriors are going to get +5/+5. We do have some Anthem effects, so we do have Etchings of the Chosen. Creatures you control get +1/+1 other creature types, so we are choosing warrior. Flowering of the White Tree, which is a new card that gives legendary creatures ward 1 and +2/+1, and then other non-legendary creatures get +1/+1. Rally the Ranks, when we choose warrior, the creatures are going to get +1/+1. We play Rhythm of the Wild just to ensure that our creature spells cannot be countered. And then they will have Riot, so they will either enter the battlefield with a choice of a 1/1 counter or haste. We play Shared Animosity, so whenever a creature we control attacks, it gets +1/+0 for each other attacking creature that shares a creature type. Song of Freyalise sits in here just to be able to tap our creatures to add the mana of our choice. And in the final level of the saga, puts a 1/1 counter on each creature we control, and then they gain Vigilance, Trample, and Indestructible. And Wild Growth is just another ramp card to give us some additional green. And then for lands, Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Jungle Shrine, Path of Ancestry, Secluded Courtyard, the World Tree, and Unclaimed Territory. And as far as tokens, we're going to be making this one. We're going to be making Avon Wine Guide, the Beast token for when we blow up one of their opponent's permanents, non-land permanent. We have the Suppressor, the Warrior, and another Warrior. So looking at the curve, we curve out at 2, and most of our mana is in green, followed by white colorless, and then red, black, and blue kind of have an even split between them. And this deck is a little bit more on the expensive side, what I usually play, more so because since this is a 5-color deck, we have to play a lot of cards that will generate the mana that we need to play our cards. So this deck is going to be, it says here about 128, so anywhere between 120 to 130 wherever you buy your cards from. And that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed the deck tech. The video will be uploaded to YouTube with my social media links, including the Moxfield link. If you can subscribe to my channel, that would be great. And if you ever want me to try to build a budget commander deck for you, just send me your ideas and I will work on them, and I will mention you in the next video. Have a good day and take care.